is live.
Indeed.
I know. I told you we were going to be recording today, but it's just been quite a morning. It's been quite a week. So anyway, here we are, live. And we literally just got back from the beach. So we were there with friends this morning that we had dinner with last night, some new friends. And then there was a low tide, and so I dropped a labyrinth and some love, and we'd literally just walked back in the house in time to say hi. So, hi. Good morning.
Here we go.
Okay.
Set.
We're set. We're here. So, week 2 of the month. So I also said last week, I'm Shiv, by the way. Should we start there?
I'm Samaj.
Welcome. If you've not been here before, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. So we're doing the Sunday sit at noon, and the first Sunday of the month will be live, and that will be like the check-in. So this is about you finding your way. Right? There's a lot of prescriptions out there. I'm telling you that you need to do these steps, and you need to do this, this, and this. What you really need to do is find your way. And one of the parts of finding your way is knowing where you are, right? And knowing where you've been in order to know where you're going to go. And so once on Sundays, the first Sundays, we're going to do that. It's going to be the check-in, right? And we're going to, and also because time can just keep passing, just keeps clicking away, and you're like, God, it's Christmas, oh, it's this. And you're not really kind of aware of how it passed.
Mm-hmm.
If you meet yourself weekly, and then you meet yourself in kind of once a month, the first Sunday is like you're taking inventory, you're taking stock. Where am I? Where am I from last month, right? And then in the interim weeks, we'll have other things. So I think week 2 is contemplation, and that's going to be a contemplation of either a quote or a card reading that we've done. And so that's today. And so that's where we're at. That's what we're going to do today. Mm-hmm. I pulled a card. Samaj actually was with me at the beach today. Unusual, always lovely. And pulled a card that I pull so often that even Katie, who's behind the bar at the Dory Deli, was like, yep, I remember that one. Don't let your container become your cage. And so it's all about this particular card. I'm going to read it to you, but it's about containers and structure, right? And whether that, how you can find freedom in that. So I know that for me, I wanted freedom. And you think freedom means no rules, and you think freedom means you can just do whatever you want. And it kind of does, but it's also non-existent. Like it's not doable. It's not a in real life thing. And in any event, it's not really how it seems to work. How it seems to work is that we can actually find freedom within structure. Sounds counterintuitive, but the structure can actually give us the freedom, because freedom is perhaps not so much being able to do whatever we want, but perhaps freedom is the freedom from ourselves, from our self-sabotage, from our self-loathing in a way, right? The freedom from that, the freedom from feeling like a failure, the freedom from not achieving what we want to achieve, right? And so we're held prisoner to that. Like we're held prisoner to, we're not capable of that, we can't do that, and yet we can, we're so powerful, right? So when there's something that we want, actually putting it into a structure can then make it attainable, which is then freedom, right? So we can look at freedom in a different way. And when we look at it in a different way, through a different lens, then we can start to see a different pathway to get there. And that's what we're talking about finding your way. Is it doesn't have to be straight from A to B. And also sometimes what we're looking at as B is actually not what we want. It's what we think that we want, or what we think we should want. When we start to look with a different lens, then we can see that actually, there's not even want a letter, it's this thing over here, it's this feeling, I'm going to move towards this way. And then you start moving that way, you have a different experience to when you're moving that way, right? You start to find your way. So that's where we're going to start today. Is we are going to. It's one of the messages from the labyrinth. You know, walk my path, find your way. Right. So the labyrinth. I talked about this last week. The labyrinth invites us to do that. The labyrinth has a path that is not direct, and that is its lesson. The pathway isn't direct. It goes in and towards the center, and then it takes you away. And then it goes in and it takes you away again, right? And then it brings you in and it takes you all the way out. And then out even more. And you start to feel like, I'm just like not even getting that. And then you come back in towards the middle part of the lanes. And if you follow it, you will get there. And then you will have to come back out again and it will take you back out, right? Samaj was walking it with me this morning. So,
I was.
You were.
I was following you.
You were following me.
Mm-hmm.
Got sand everywhere. I still got sand all over my feet and everything. And I whacked my knee this morning. I'm really feeling it right now.
We'll ice it afterwards.
We will ice it afterwards. It's been a busy morning. So, on the contemplation week, so we're like, you know, like, let's think about something, because yes, we can sit here and we can be all zen, but then we can also plant a seed of a little something to think about. Like, how does that translate in my life? What could I do to do more of this and less of this? And do I want more of this and less of this? And is this, and you can have this like ongoing conversation with yourself, you know, while you're walking, whilst you're driving, in the supermarket queue, you know, all these different places where you've got these little spots and you can start to contemplate something a little different. So that's what we're going to do. So I would invite you to listen to it, you know, in a meditation kind of state, right? I'll show you the card before we go there. It's called Container. These are the Radiant Threshold cards by Senta Schumacher. Love, 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 my favorites. Oh look, it's quite, it kind of goes without, there you go, it's not there. No, I'm not here either.
I'm gonna
Peekaboo!
disappear for a
Where are
second.
you disappearing to?
Grab my phone for the timer.
He's grabbing his phone for the
Because you
time.
don't have it.
Because I don't have mine. I have a little espresso whilst I'm here, shall I? What do you put in your cup? What do you imbibe? My cup kind of matches the upholstery, the cushions. We are going to have an express week as well, so there'll be a week where it's an express and you're just kind of doing an in and out. Somebody's getting his timer. Put my coffee back. So that's our card, the container. Just going to find a spot, and then we'll go into. Oh, are you? I've noticed.
No. I think no one noticed.
And I mark on my cards the dates that I get them. So as you can see with this one, I've got it quite a few times. Like I say, Katie even remarked on that. Other ones I've just got, you know, odd,
Writing, scribbling.
just a little couple of dates on the side. Dory Deli. So, what number is it? 48. Alrighty. So, let's come seated. Have a close our eyes as we start to bring ourselves into this moment, feeling the full being of ourselves, where we meet the ground or the thing that we're sitting on. As you're breathing in, feeling the chest rising, aware of your shoulders stacked above your hips. And as you exhale, allowing the shoulders to relax down. Perhaps sitting a little back or a little forward, so that you're sitting up nice and straight. And then your head on top of all of that, chin slightly tucked in, back of the neck nice and long, eyes soft, maybe a smile. Yeah, there you go. It's okay to smile while you meditate. And then just start to bring yourself to your breath, as in aware of the fact that you are this breathing organism. Breathing in, and the belly rises. Slight pause at the end before breathing out. Belly contracts. Noticing where you find the air coming in, where you sense that. Does it feel different as it leaves? New energy coming in, new life force entering your body, and all that no longer serves you, and all that you can no longer use, leaving as you breathe out. Eyes become heavy. As you start to relax into just being here with yourself. Recognizing that it doesn't have to be quiet on the outside, for you to find a little spot of quiet on the inside. And even all those thoughts that want to come in, just letting them roll on by, like clouds on a windy day. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, and using that as your mantra if you need to, or as your guide, or as your distraction. As you breathe in, mentally repeating, breathing in. As you breathe out, breathing out. And just settling in. And just letting the words of the card of the reading wash over you. Allow it to plant the seeds inside of you. It's called the container. And the image is 3 planes of a crystalline shape merge upon a shimmering rainbow. Within this form is the full spectrum of light, color, and darkness. The form delineates space, creating a place for the light to converge. Does this container keep the light in, or keep something else out? Here's this container talking about space. We've been talking about space in our meditations, creating this space, creating this space. Things cannot happen without space. But what is space without containment, right? Card goes on to say, containers are useful. If you are making a soup, you need to have a vessel to put your ingredients in for the soup to be edible. You can't just throw tomatoes and cream onto your counter and expect it to turn into bisque. Once your ingredients are contained, you can now heat them, stir them, add salt and pepper, and etc., etc. Now this idea applies to our lives as well. Our projects, our day-to-day schedules, and our energetic work all need their proper containers to be effective. Life needs a structure, a set of parameters in which you can create your work. There are times in our lives when we need more structure, when things feel diffused and out of control. While some people balk at the idea of structure, they view it as the opposite of freedom. But structure, the container, does not mean restriction. They are merely the parameters that we must establish in order to accomplish our desires. However, it can sometimes feel like a restriction. If you need to cut back on late nights watching movies with your beloved in order to wake up early to finish your writing projects, structure can sometimes feel unfair. Instead of reducing your freedom, structure can help you work with your life in its present moment to create a container for the things you truly want to accomplish. To have the space to achieve your desires, is that space word again, and the ability to pursue what gives your heart joy is the greatest freedom. However, the container can have a shadow. Being too rigid and relying on an outmoded structure or someone else's structure that does not work for you, or the structure you think you should do, can all be suffocating. Applied too intensely, structure can be self-punishing. It should not be rigid, for as we grow and change as people, patterns that once worked for us cease to be as effective. Don't let your container become a cage. Perhaps you need a morning ritual. Do you need to carve out more time for your personal projects? And does that mean you have to cut back somewhere else? What is the container for your day? We all have obligations, but where can you make better time for what you need? Alternatively, are you a slave to your to-do list, to getting things checked off so much that you're neglecting your deep self? Structure should be firm but flexible, like a shield. Be a semi-impermeable membrane that allows for everyday changes in life. For 5 days, you might want to commit to a simple morning ritual. Wake up and have a glass of water. Do 3 sun salutations or other stretches to wake up your body. Make and eat breakfast, or skip breakfast and have some coffee. As you eat or drink your coffee, think about your desire for a stronger container in your life. Then do a card reading and write down your feelings and responses without judgment. You don't have to, if you don't have cards, don't worry about it. Sit and contemplate, and then just have a little free write for maybe 5 minutes, not even. Just let you put your pen to paper. Sitting here, what do I feel? Let it go, let it flow. And at the end of 5 days, have a look and see what patterns have emerged inside that little journal prompt that you have. It could be amazing what a structured morning can do for the rest of your day. And this is how you can start to use structure as a container for more freedom, which is just a beautiful thing, right? Especially when you take it in the morning. So as we're sitting here coming to the end of our practice, that's what we're going to take away with ourselves. Our contemplation is, where can we invite some structure to be the container for more freedom? And we start to open our eyes as we have an alarm.
Stop.
And we can't stop it. So coming to the end, waking us up from our container.
Hi. There we are.
Sorry about that. As we start to
Lovely sound.
come back from that contemplation, recognizing that as much as we might plan, whatever it is that we might plan, life may sometimes have a different plan, and we get to roll with that. So we came back from there with
The alarm.
I'd be interested to know from you where you might find structure to be, where you think the parts of structure that keep you, what you feel imprisoned, and where you can find other little niches and nooks and crannies for a little bit of structure that can then allow you the freedom from your own mind, because you're actually doing the thing instead of keep trying to work out how to get it done. I think for me, you know, the structure of waking at 4 o'clock in the morning to work out seems pretty hideous, to be honest. But I don't think it started out at that. I think it started out at 5 and we were starting work later, and we weren't working out as much in the beginning. And so it's just kind of worked its way to that, right? And not terribly keen on getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but that structure has allowed me to make good on my own word to myself. And there's a lot of freedom in that. I hadn't thought of it in that way before, but that's what I was trying to say earlier. There's a lot of freedom in making good on your own word. And structure is a way to invite that in. To, if you're not succeeding in it, to find a structure, to find a container, and get it in there. So, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I'd like to, hear from you. Like, where can you find some structure? I think that's what we were doing when we started the Sunday Sit, right? It was we're starting to find that structure again because, things have changed and we're in a different place. And how are we going to start coming back into contact with you, I suppose. And so we started the Sundays at noon, and then what we're finding is we too need a container or a little structure to be able to do. We don't have a lot of time now, and so the time becomes super important how we use it, and it can feel a bit like it's insurmountable, like it's just not enough. And so trying to invite that structure in also helps us feel that we're at least doing something, we're participating, we're trying to make headway, make good on our word to ourselves, right? Freedom lies in making good on our word to ourselves. So how can you invite some structure in to be your container to make good on your own word to yourself? Because you're really good, I'm sure, at fulfilling all the obligations to everybody else. But the obligations to yourself are the ones that tend to keep us kind of trapped in our own worries. So let's find some freedom there. Let's invite some structure in. Let's create a container and let's get some shit done. With me? Word? Okay. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Invite some structure in to be the container for our freedom to get some shit done. And so be it. And it's not always easy, but at the end of the day, the world's going to take bites out of us here, there, and everywhere. And what we've got to do is find our own bits of peace along the way. It's not a continuum. It's bit by bit.
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit. And with that, that's our bit. Good job. So there we are. We will see you next Sunday. It is most likely going to be the recording. But if not, it will be as live. It will be something. There will be Sunday at noon. That much we know. I have no idea how long we've been going now. We've been going a while. Sundays at noon. Come check in with yourself and let's see where we can go. But in order to do that, we have to know where we've been and where we are right now. And know that we are where we need to be in order to go where we need to go. That those challenges that we're facing are part of the challenge that we are going to, that is part of where we are.
And who we are.
And who we are. Yeah, and that's all. It's not over till it's over.
It's not over.
And it's not over because we're still here.
We're still here. We're actually just getting started.
Are we? We're
This
just
side of
getting
55.
started. This side of 55, we're just getting started. So, more on that later. Sending you so much love. We will be back next Sunday.